Another day, another live stream from Matt Wiss. Welcome. Great to have you. My name is Matt Wiss, the co-founder at Email Ties. We help B2B companies scale, build demand generating through building demand generating services, whether it's or systems, whether it's through content marketing or building outbound infrastructure, which is something we're going to talk about today. This is what we help you create. Yesterday, we were talking about building your list, finding out how big your total addressable market audience is. Let me share my screen here so we can take a look at this as well, actually here. So essentially, as the results of yesterday, and highly recommend checking out the live from yesterday if you want to learn how you can actually find out what's your TAM, what's your addressable market audience, how you can turn this list that you are going to get into a Dream 100 list that will help you really go after those best accounts, clone your best clients, your most profitable clients, your clients that you love working with. Everyone has those. And essentially, you go above and beyond to get them as clients while simultaneously really testing the market with outreach at scale. And when it comes to that, we need to be building a proper outbound infrastructure. And before I get to that, I wanted to share with you that if you'd like to get access to the entire document and also go-to-market prompts, with the first one might be useful for what we're trying to do, what we tried to do yesterday, or what we did yesterday. This prompt will help you create best criteria based on your business that you can plug into Apollo and build the best list based on, again, your business, your service, your market, your industry. So if you want that, there's a link in the description of this live that will take you to this page. You can sign up and I will send it to you immediately. So that's for this. Now let's talk about building an outbound infrastructure. So first of all, when you've done your research, you know exactly who you're trying to reach, you should get a list of people like this. Obviously, you'll have hundreds, maybe thousands of people here. You'll have their first name, last name, job title, company name, email, personal LinkedIn profile, their website, their location, and so much more information. So once you have that, there's obviously multiple things you can leverage that list. I'll spend a bit of time filtering it, making sure you have actually the decision makers you're trying to reach, which is something we're going to talk about today. And you can, first of all, do some manual work and probably spend 30 minutes to 40 minutes a day and connecting with people if you haven't connected with them on LinkedIn right away. You can automate this process that comes at your own risk. There's a platform called HeyReach, for example. That's one that comes to mind. There is another one called Prosp that you can look that will automate the process for you. They have a lot of content on their YouTube channel and their LinkedIn profile, so check them out. You can definitely use an automation. However, that comes at your own risk. It's up to you if you decide to do it manually or invest into a tool like this. But that's the first step you can do. And that's what I like to say, that first impression. When you visit someone's profile, obviously LinkedIn sends you a notification. When you send a connection request, they see it. So you're pretty much stacking up your connections. And obviously you don't want to send, if you have a list of 1,000 people, it's going to take you a while to send those 1,000 connections. That's why I mentioned the Dream 100 list to find out those best accounts from that list, and you can start with those. But yes, you can send around 100 to 150, I believe, LinkedIn connection requests per week. And that's obviously the first thing you can do. LinkedIn is a powerful platform. If you set up your profile correctly, that is inviting, essentially structured so that someone who has no idea who you are, no idea what you do at your business, that can learn quickly by looking at your profile if it's something for them. If you structure your profile like this, obviously there's a high chance that they're going to accept your connection request. I would say 10-15% of people will accept your connection request, and you can send them a direct message. If you would like to if you're going to get a lot of accepted connections and you have a lot of you're growing your network on LinkedIn, I recommend a tool called Condo, which is just like it says here somewhere. There it is. Superhuman for LinkedIn. If you don't know Superhuman, it's a platform for your email inbox that is saving you probably hours a week for navigating to your inbox. It will filter your inbox. It will help you create shortcuts. And with a few clicks, you can clear your inbox, reach that inbox zero syndrome, where you can essentially know that you've responded to the most important messages. You follow up with people you needed to follow up, check on your team, and you've done everything you wanted. So it essentially does that for LinkedIn. So you can remind yourself to follow up with someone. You can take notes. You can build your shortcuts. So, for example, if you have a message that if someone asks you for your website, maybe your YouTube channel, whatever you're trying to share or document, you can have it saved so you don't have to do it manually all the time. Great platform, cool founder. He's doing great stuff, and he's literally changing the game. We send DMs on LinkedIn, and I know if for a fact that being LinkedIn power user now, I can call myself the sending DMs on LinkedIn. It's horrible, whether it's through your phone, whether it's through your computer or your iPad. I've linked on all those three devices, and it just pain in the butt to send those. As it says, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry, LinkedIn, fix it, but it's so slow to respond. You can't scroll through it and all of that. So that's one thing. But that's the first thing you can do with that list. But second of all is you can send emails, but you can't just use you can, but you shouldn't be using your main inbox that you use for your all the software, CRM, maybe even your banks, all very important information related to your business. You use your main email, right? Your name and domain. You don't want to use it for outbound, especially not cold outbound. And cold outbound essentially means reaching out to someone who has not heard from you in the past. They are new to you. So last year, there were some major changes when it comes to Google, Yahoo, and all those email providers. So without so those are the deadly sins here of outbound. If you skip proper domain setup, authentication, if you're sending too many emails too quickly from new domains, I will explain why new domains might be confusing to you. I know it is. It was to me, certainly. And you're not monitoring your deliverability or your delivery metrics and spam complaints, you are not going to reach the right inbox. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to test a market. We're trying to expand beyond your referrals, word of mouth, and reach the right person. And if you want to book meetings, if you want to get people interested in your webinar, in your white paper, in your podcast, in your offering, in your SaaS, in your high ticket offer, if you want them to be interested in your service, start a conversation, maybe better said, you need to avoid those mistakes and you need to build a proper infrastructure. So proper infrastructure means you have multiple domains. Why you have multiple domains? Because you should be sending 30, 40 emails per domain. You want to make sure that you forward each domain to your main domain, main website. You want to have the proper authentication. That's all Hebrew to me as well. It's very confusing, but you need to configure all the setups. Essentially, that builds your reputation, I guess, if you will. So essentially, by the time you send that email, and this process takes a couple of weeks, but once you start sending emails, when you land in my primary inbox, that means that my domain, which I'm using G Suite for our business domains, has recognized you as a reputable domain, as a legit business owner. You're trying to sell me service because that's how business works. You're selling stuff, right? Otherwise, we'll be nonprofits. And if you're trying to offer me something hopefully of value, then obviously you need to have that process done. Compliance and warm up. Warm up is extremely important. So usually I would say it takes about 4 weeks to warm up your domains. And warm up, which we covered in just a second, how to simplify the entire process, means that you are tapping into an ecosystem where exchanging emails is very safe because, and it's all automated, by the way, now. So essentially, you send me an email, I'm your friend, I respond to the email, I read your email, and I respond back to you, you respond back to me, and we do that on an ongoing basis. When I first started with email ties, and actually it was called Wisp Management, which I still have, probably will be my holding company for the future. We were able to use one platform, which was Lemlist at the time, to have one user, one domain dedicated for cold outbound, but still, and we're sending pictures, funny pictures with dynamic text written on a picture. So for example, I would be sitting next to a whiteboard, and on that whiteboard would be your name with your company name. We're able to send this. We didn't have to do much setup. It was pretty expensive. Still, I think it was $100, something like that per user, per domain. But it was working, and we were getting a lot of meetings through that. It was fun. We had to be creative. We had to be definitely more strategic with it, because with one domain, you still couldn't send hundreds or thousands of emails per day. So you had to be more strategic. But that's how it was done. But with the new changes, you will need weeks to warm up your domains. You will need essentially multiple domains. If you have 1,000 people on your list that we curated yesterday, I'm sorry, then obviously divide 1,000 by 30. That gives you the amount per day, or how, let's say if you want to, let's say you have, let's simplify it. If you have 10 domains, 30 emails per domain per day, that means you can send 300 emails. That will take you 3.5 days to reach all 1,000 people. That's how you can do the math. But for all of that, because that's complicated, and it's time consuming. For all of that, you have a platform called Instantly, for example, that essentially leverage the fact that the game has changed, the outbound game has changed, leverage that fact, and allows you to really keep everything under one hook. It's almost like your go-to market platform SaaS that you can use. They will help you purchase those domains, host them on their platform, warm them up, continuously warm them up. So we'll go through the features that they have here. So for example, for deliverability, the warm-up email. So with a few clicks, obviously it takes a bit to set up, but once you set it all up, once you have all your domains connected with it, it will give you a score on your domains. It will give you a score from 0 to 100, and it will keep the warm-up ongoing basis for you. So you don't have to do all of that manually. As you can see here, it will tell you how many emails you've sent, what's your warm-up score, how many warm-up emails have you exchanged in that ecosystem that I just covered, how many landed in inbox, how many were saved from spam, or how many landed in spam. It will take care of all of that for you. So it will take care of deliverability. Actually, they recently launched an autopilot, Instantly Copilot. That's inside from Instantly. So here you can type in whatever you want, find your ideal prospects. It's still very early, so that's why I don't really rely on that. But you can technically audit your workspace, check, run an analytics, generate a full campaign, so it will write the sequences for you and all the good stuff. And that's how it looks like inside of the platform. You have their Unibox, so when someone responds to your email, to one of your emails, you obviously are going to have a lot of back and forth with your analytics here. It will tell you how many opportunities were created. Opportunity means someone is interested in your offering. You can have a CRM here as well. Website visitors, you can build a workflow. I think they have it somewhere here. There it is. So for example, when someone visits your website, you can send them an email 60 minutes, as shown in this example, after they visit your website. Obviously, that shows you intent, and you can follow up with, obviously, not a pitch at this point. I mean, in general, you don't want to pitch in any cold email. You want to get them interested in what you have to offer, which usually is a problem that you mentioned around that their company, right? But you can build a workflow like this all inside of Instantly. So that makes it obviously more likely that this person will open your email if you have a subject line that is relative to what they're being browsing, right? So you can do that. What else? You can have all of your accounts here, super search. You can type in who you're trying to reach. I believe it's a combination of perhaps Apollo and Sales Navigator. So Sales Navigator is another great way to build your list as well. But yeah, you can do all of that here as well. I'm still exploring it. I feel like those are new features from Instantly, so they need some improvement. But yes, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. You have AI agents here that, let me see if they have some information on the AI agent here. But there is maybe here. So AI agent will, as soon as someone responds to you, it will give you a good response based on information that you fed it. So we can teach it who you are, what you do, and what information how do you structure your responses. We'll learn based on your responses, and you can use it as a co-pilot to save you time. But there is a point where you start sending your outbound campaigns, and you start getting a lot of responses, right? So you'll spend a good time having back and forth with people, remembering when to follow up, how to follow up, right? So for example, building a workflow, when someone responds positively, you can then reach out to them on LinkedIn. And all of those workflows, this is why outbound is so powerful, and if done correctly, can really bring a lot of deals into your pipeline, because it's time consuming. It's not easy to provide value to multiple people at the same time and find out if prospects A, John or Peter, wants you to follow up with him in 6 weeks or 6 months or next year. And then Why would you waste this opportunity 6 months from now when this might be potentially worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for your company, depending on your lifetime value? So building the whole infrastructure is the foundation for it all. But you build on top of that. You want to make sure that you start reaching out the right inboxes, right decision makers. And it doesn't matter if you have 400, 500 people, because you're only targeting local companies or companies in your region or in your state, or targeting the entire country. You essentially can build your outbound infrastructure on instantly. And if you combine it with LinkedIn, whether manual or automated, somewhat automated, I definitely recommend at least once you automate, if you automate the connection request process, then you should definitely still personalize every message and try to be as specific as possible with every connection that you do. So what I started doing is I figure out the best ways to give value for each of my new connections. So I build almost like mini growth plans, share some ideas that I had based on looking at the website, maybe some feedback, anything that could be useful. So it takes me a bit of time to do that, but that all usually starts much more meaningful conversations. So we can be creative with that. So again, we cover what to do with the list that you have now, a list of prospects, list of businesses that you would like to work with, list of businesses that you would like to provide services for. You take this list and build an infrastructure around it to actually reach each and every one of these prospects, whether through LinkedIn, email. You can also add phone calls if you have a platform. If you want to go with phone calls, one of the platform that comes to mind that is pretty good for it, it's Close. So it's mainly a CRM, you can use it for phone calls and a lot more. So see here, CRM integrations, communication. So you can build your workflows here as well. But mainly what I like this for is for calling. So it records your calls. You can obviously know when to follow up, how to follow, etc. So if you're implementing this, maybe even text messaging, this will be the platform for you to go off, integrate seamlessly with all other tools. If you need to build better automation between those tools, you can always use Zapier. And I know we covered a lot of stuff here, but Zapier essentially allows you to communicate between any tools, most of the tools that you want or you need in your market. So that's for today. And again, it takes usually 3 to 4 weeks to build that infrastructure. So be patient with it. If you need any more strategic information or something more personalized, or you have questions, because what I talked was complicated and different language, which I would understand and shoot me a message. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about creating authority content that builds trust or earns trust. Maybe I should say, maybe I should fix it here. So what's going to happen when you send those messages, when you reach out via LinkedIn, when you send an email, when you call someone? Naturally, they go on Google, maybe they go on ChatGPT, they start typing your information, and they look for something that will help them make a decision whether or not they should engage with you or not. And if you don't have any content that they can consume, obviously they might move forward. And one of the rules that we like to say is the 7-hour rule. Let me see if we can. I'll Google this. I remember it was giving for marketing, for sales, let's say. There's a cool diagram with some statistics as well, but I can't find it. Long story short, it takes about 7 hours for someone to consume your content, and probably 12 touch points on multiple platforms for them to consider. Stop sharing because I probably confuse you here. Yeah, so it takes about 7 hours of time to spend with someone before they make a decision, usually 12 touch points on multiple platforms. So what does it mean? If you have a YouTube video or if you have a video sales letter that is 30 minutes long, they will watch it. If you are getting with them on your first discovery call, that's probably another 30 minutes. And if they read your post, it adds up. Obviously, it doesn't have to be strictly 7 hours, but you have to give them opportunities to stay within your ecosystem, whether it's reading an email or getting on a call with you or consuming your content, blog posts, videos, anything. Maybe you develop an AI for your company and you want them to play with that AI. That's essentially you keeping them in your ecosystem. And that's really that really matters, because if you're selling something of value, I'm sorry, if you're saying something obviously of value, I hope you're saying something of value, but also something high ticket. And that requires a lot of time versus in, for example, physical. If you're selling physical products, physical goods, then that decision can be done quicker. But we still consume probably a lot of ads we don't even realize and content from all those brands. I mean, we do email marketing for a lot of brands. We've worked with 40 plus e-commerce brands. So we're sending one email every 2 days, pretty much, to stay top of mind. And you might think it's too much for a product that costs $50 or $100. Email drove up to sometimes 50 or 60% of the total revenue, depending on how close you are and how close of a relationship you build through email as a communication channel. The email, SMS are fantastic channels for this, and we absolutely must stay top of mind, because the moment you go to Target, Walmart, Costco, or any other store, and you see a product, let's say skincare, you will like the branding or whatever, or you just grab it because you run out of it. And now you essentially are engaging with someone else's products. If you want them to keep using your products, even if they're a great customer of yours, you have to keep following up, keep staying top of mind. So email is a great way to do it. And what we are building here on the B2B side is we want to create an opportunity for them to have a conversation with you to find out whether or not you are the right solution to solve their problems. I hope it made sense. And I can't wait to be here tomorrow and talk about content, because that's something that I'm really passionate about and exploring myself and testing all kinds of ways, like live streams, video content, carousel posts, and all kinds of creative ways to create content that actually gets seen. So I look forward to presenting to you tomorrow and talking about that. Until then, I hope you have a productive day. Take care.